looked up the definition of shit in the Oxford Dictionary and found a picture of the Cambridge Dictionary. I once boasted before a boxing match that I'd let my fist do the talking. During the fight, it turned out that my face did a lot of listening. When I was a kid, I woke up one morning and found a horse's head on my pillow. And I thought, fuck, what's up with the tooth fairy? Sometimes I'll be out on a date with a woman and things are going great, so I ask her back to my place for some coffee. But she'll always say no. I think it's because when I say coffee, I actually go, coffee. Pass the parcel would work better if there were no prize. That way, one kid is disappointed, but everyone else is happy. In the song, Old MacDonald's animals are only ever mentioned in past tense, which makes me suspect that farm is a euphemism for abattoir. I hired a private investigator to follow my wife around. That way, I'll know where both of them are while I'm cheating with his wife. You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out. You put your right foot in. That's how you kick someone to death. I do everything that the Bible condemns. I figure if Jesus died for my sins, I owe it to him to get value for money. They say even a broken clock is right twice a day, and it's at those times that I try to sell my broken clock. The other day I was running for a bus, but the bus closed its doors and took off. As soon as it did, it hit someone and had to stop again. Now I have to admit that my first thought when this happened was, oh good, now I can catch the bus. But then I started feeling guilty, because the victim was someone that I just pushed out of my way. I only buy fitted sheets, which makes me look rather silly at Ku Klux Klan meetings. When I was a kid, my mum used to spank me a lot with the wooden spoon, which probably explains why her cakes always tasted like arse. I hate it when I open up a packet of crisps and there's mostly air inside. I reckon it'd only be fair if the person responsible for this were to crash their car and find their airbag was full of crisps. The last time I had to move house, I kidnapped the son of the removals man so he'd understand what it feels like to want something delivered in one piece. Sometimes, when I'm at swingers parties, I feel like eavesdropping on conversations, but I don't want to look suspicious. So I stand around and wank. When that guy from Black Eyed Peas dies, should his tombstone say, "Will I was"? Sometimes I shit on the ground, then jump in the air to impersonate an exclamation mark. Now, you may or may not know that when a man dies by hanging, he'll sometimes spring a massive stiffy. Has anybody read this? No? Well, the scientific explanation for it is when you hang a man, you can sometimes damage the spinal cord in such a way that causes an erection. But I prefer to believe in a supernatural explanation, which is whenever an innocent man is hanged, he'll get a boner which points at the real murderer. A Chinese government official was meeting the parents of his girlfriend for the first time. He wanted to flatter the mother, so said to his girlfriend, "You never told me you had a sister." This freaked out the whole family because they thought they were going to be arrested for breaching the one-child policy. The most painful way to find out no one likes you is stage diving. I'm in trouble with the law. Apparently, you can't christen babies the same way you christen ships. The 2 atomic bombs that were dropped on Japan by America were called Little Boy and Batman, or Little Man and Fat Boy, or whatever. Anyhow, I would have called them Boom. The first one Boom, and the second one Tish, because they certainly gave America the last laugh. Yeah, 100,000 people dead. Yeah. 2 homeless guys started making out in front of me, but I thought I'd sound harsh if I told them to get a room. I answered a personals ad from a woman who claimed to have a body built for sin. It turns out that sin was gluttony. I reckon it would really suck if you were being forced to dig your own grave at gunpoint, and while you were digging, you discovered some buried treasure. I once asked a girl, "What's a girl like you doing in a place like this?" She laughed and said, "That's a really bad pickup line." So to save face, I told her that I was actually being racist. After my grandma died, I recorded an acoustic album in her memory. It was titled Life Support Unplugged. Asparagus makes my piss smell funny, and vice versa. I had an infinite number of monkeys working at an infinite number of typewriters, and one of them came up with the complete works of Dan Brown. I presume he knew what he was doing, because once he finished, he put it in his hand and threw it at me. The other day, I smothered a guy to death. Now the look that he had on his face when he died is permanently imprinted in my memory foam pillow. I looked up the origins of different racial slurs that are used against Chinese people, and it turns out there's a unique story behind each one, which is ironic because Chinese people are all the same. Sometimes when I watch porn, I see ads which say there are women in my area who want to fuck me. This makes me feel even more hopeless for not being able to find them. Sometimes I misuse fancy words while trying to make myself sound more imperative. If you don't know what a glory hole is, don't look into it. Why do so many Boy Scouts get molested when their motto says, "Be prepared"? Thank you.